Is the first of the 5 part of a mini-series on autism and attention. The first part, I will introduce you to the condition of autism and the various cognitive theories that have been proposed to explain this condition. The second and the fourth part will present 3 specific theories: the sticky attention theory, weak central coherence theory, and the learning deficit theory, all of which emphasize the non-social aspect of the autism spectrum condition. I will present under each section evidence for and against the theories. And in the last part, I will discuss the condition of autism and thinking about the difficulties moving forward in scientific research. Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. People with this condition show qualitatively impaired social and communication skills, often in the presence of restricted interest in specific topics or having repetitive behavior. The condition has relatively early onset, often noticeable by the age of 1 or 2, and persists throughout the individual's lifetime. Recent statistics estimate that autism spectrum disorder affects about 1% of children. It covers a wide spectrum. Within the spectrum of autism, variability in the social domain ranges from a near absence of interest in interacting with others to more subtle difficulties managing complex social interactions. Similarly, stereotyped and repetitive behaviors range from simple motor stereotypies and/or a preference for sameness to much more complex and elaborate rituals. Some individuals with ASD lack basic speech abilities, while others can have language deficits that are mild and limited to just the pragmatic aspect of language. Intelligence quotients vary from the severe to profoundly impaired to well above average. Many reasons lead us to study autism. Chief among these is to understand the condition for the purpose of improving the quality of life. Related to that reason is the economical and emotional impact of the autism spectrum condition. This is also a condition fraught with misunderstanding in the popular press, owing largely to controversial findings and slow scientific progress. Autism also presents a model system for understanding the human mind and brain from multiple disciplines. It also allows us to address one of the most fundamental questions about the human mind, the modularity of different cognitive functions. The mini-series presented here will touch primarily upon this last point. Cognitive theories of autism can be largely divided into domain-specific views and domain-general views. The most well-known theory of a domain-specific view is Baron Cohen's earlier mind blindness theory. The idea is that people with autism have a specific deficit in mentalizing, in having a theory of other people's desires, beliefs, and other mental states. These views are contrasted with domain-general views that consider autism as a broad deficit, not restricted to social and communication functions. An example is what geneticists and neuroscientists sometimes call developmental disconnection, the idea that normal connections between the frontal lobe and the association cortices of the temporal and parietal lobes fail to develop. Evidence for such disconnection is controversial. Cognitive theories that emphasize abnormalities in attention, learning, and other domain general mechanisms also fall under this second camp. Uta Frith used this painting to illustrate mind reading in many social situations. Here you have someone who's cheating at the card game. The servant noticed it. With her eye gaze and gesture, she indicated to her master, whose gaze and gesture showed that she understood what the situation is, whereas this young man here appeared to remain oblivious to the situation. A drawing like this shows the many subtle ways in which we communicate unspoken facts to others. It also demonstrates our own mental capability to understanding it. The mind blindness theory is consistent with the core deficit of autism and has received much empirical support. However, it also has its own problems. In particular, it does not account for non-social aspects of autism, such as restricted interest and repetitive behavior. A second limitation of the mind blindness theory is that a range of cognitive conditions show forms of mind blindness, such as patients with schizophrenia or narcissist and borderline personality disorders. In some studies, children with conduct disorders. So having a mind blindness may not be a very specific condition in characterizing the condition of autism. And in addition, whereas mind blindness theory characterizes autism as a deficit in social cognition ability, right, an inability to understand mental states, other theories have suggested that the main problem is with social motivation. It's shortcomings like these that led us to look at other theories of autism as an alternative to the mind blindness theories. These theories focus on domain general mechanisms that may contribute to core features of autism. And in this mini-series, I will present 3 of these theories and some of my work that try to evaluate them. These theories all have something to do with attention, so I will call them the sticky attention account, the weak central coherence account, and the deficit in learning to attend. And I will be presenting the very first one in the next part of the presentation.